Hello you guys, and welcome back to my home. Today I'm going to be showing you how to turn these fresh garden peppers into your own crushed red pepper flakes here at home, and also how to save the seeds so that you can keep growing more peppers next year. We're going to be using the oven today because that is the thing that I have. I don't have a dehydrator or a freeze dryer. There is another method where you string the peppers on a line and you hang them to dry. I chose not to do that one just because of time. I wanted to have my pepper flakes. And then the other reason is because sometimes your peppers can actually go moldy if you're not in like the perfect condition, and our house stays pretty warm during the summer and it has been very rainy and humid lately, so I could just see a lot of the peppers getting moldy and I don't want to waste any. I really want to make sure that I get the most use of my harvest. Because I don't plant that many plants. I only have 3 raised garden beds, so I don't have a lot to lose. So we're going to be doing the oven. There's definitely pros and cons to different methods. I believe it's known that freeze drying is the best way to actually preserve the most amount of nutrients. So maybe one day I'll invest in one, but we've only been married a couple years. I'm only a couple years into homemaking, so we're gonna use what we have, which is an oven, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're gonna start off by preheating our oven to 170 degrees. As you can see, I cut this pepper earlier in the season to get some of the seeds out, and it has already started the drying process, so this is actually almost done. So we're just gonna set that one on our pan. Now, some people like to actually just put this straight on the pan as is, leaving the top on. They say that it kind of traps the flavors inside, makes it, I don't know, just more flavorful, I guess. I'm actually going to choose to cut the tops off because this is going to make our life easier at the end. But if having that more enhanced flavor is really important to you, you can just pop these straight on the pan now and take the tops off later. So whatever you prefer to do. But I'm going to cut mine off. And then I'm just going to put this straight onto the pan. Now we need to get some seeds so that we can grow more next year. So I'm going to take one of the bigger, more firm peppers because it's just going to be easier to work with. And I will say that if you want to wear gloves, that probably is recommended. When you're handling hot peppers, you can actually burn your hands when you're doing a lot of them. I only have a few and I don't have gloves, so I'm just gonna be careful. But I just cut the top off, and as you can see, there's a ton of seeds right at the top. And so all I'm gonna do is take this over a bowl. And I'm just gonna start twisting and rubbing this in between my hands to loosen those seeds up. And as you can see, they are starting to fall right out. And we didn't have to touch it at all. I love how many seeds you get from just one pepper. Now, that is a ton of seeds, and I would not need to plant this many seeds next year. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna choose a couple more peppers just in case for some reason this didn't produce viable peppers. I just want a variety of options so that I have the best chance for germination next year. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just gonna take this one, put it on the pan, and grab another. And we're gonna do the same thing. I love this trick, it makes it so easy. I'm going to set the seeds aside. I'm going to tell you more on that in a minute. But I just want to get these peppers cut and in the oven because they will have to be in there for several hours. And so I want to get this party started. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. And we are gonna let these sit for several hours. And so I'm gonna start with 2 hours. I know it's gonna take longer than that, but just to get a baseline, and to not accidentally overcook them, I'm gonna start with 2 hours. Now that we're waiting for our peppers to cook, let's talk saving seeds. Saving your own seeds is so incredibly easy and saves you money in the long run. I know seed packets are, $2, they're not that expensive, but if you can just save your own, it'll save you money in the long run, and especially if you do a big garden, that's a lot of seed packets that you have to buy, and it can add up. So these are free, and you know where they came from, you know that they're organic if you are gardening organically, and so the biggest rule of thumb is that you have to take the seeds from a fully ripe pepper. The same rule applies for all peppers, is that, as you can see, this is just the top, but we had a red pepper. This is a red ember cayenne chili pepper, so when it reaches peak ripeness, it turns red. And you may not know this, but jalapenos actually turn red. We know that bell peppers turn red, and banana peppers as well, they turn red. And so most peppers, obviously I don't know about all peppers, but a lot of them turn red at peak ripeness, and you have to take the seeds from a pepper like that. And so what I would recommend is that if you see a pepper that's looking good and healthy, don't pick it. Leave at least one on the vine so that you can save the seeds from it, but you probably won't be able to eat it. Like, for example, a banana pepper, you probably don't want to eat a red one. You could, but maybe you don't want to. So then you're just gonna do exactly what I showed you. Cut off the top, save the seeds, and then what you wanna do is just put it in a dish and just put it somewhere in your house. Don't put it outside or anything. You want it to be just room temperature in a place where that can get lots of airflow, and wait for these to dry out. You can check on them periodically. I had some in here, and so maybe I can show you the difference that I had already harvested. And you will be able to tell the difference of when they are fresh and when they are dried. So you're wanting to dry your pepper seeds for storage, because otherwise if you put them in an airtight container, they may mold, they may not store well for next year, and so you want to let them dry out. This seed right here is one that has been drying for a few weeks now, and this one is one that we just harvested. So as you can see, this one is a different color, and it kind of has indented in the center because all of the moisture is gone. This one right here is very plump, and you can tell that there's still moisture inside. So basically you're just gonna set these out. You can harvest more throughout the season if you wish. That's what I tend to do, is I'll just leave this on my hutch over there and wait until the season is done and I know I'm not saving any more seeds, wait for them to dry, and then I will put them in little seed packets that you can get on Amazon. Make sure that you label everything. That is super important because pepper seeds all look the same. So you want to know which pepper variety you have. So it's as easy as that. That's how you save pepper seeds. And most vegetable seeds is that you just wait for the fruit to get to peak ripeness, get the seeds out, let them air dry. Once they're dry, store them, and you're good to go. So the first timer just went off for the first 2 hours. I checked it, and they are still definitely squishy and not dry at all. So I added another 2 hours. We'll see how that goes, and we'll check back when the next timer goes off. After another 2 hours, this is what they're looking like. This one is probably the most done so far, besides this guy who is like already very close to being done. Like it's getting there, but it's still a little bit rubbery and it needs to be like paper. So we still have definitely a good amount of time to go. These are still bendy. They're not brittle at all. So I'm gonna do another 2 hours. It is the next day. I needed to use my oven yesterday afternoon, and so I had to take a pause on the chili peppers, but we have been back cooking them all morning, and I think they're so close to being done. It's been 11 hours so far. That is so much longer than I was expecting. So they're so close. They may be done. I just need to inspect them. So let's take a peek at how they're looking. Oh, did you hear that? That was one of the small ones though. We need the big ones to be that crunchy. They're definitely crunchy, but I don't think that there can be any moisture because we don't want it to mold. And they're still slightly bendy. I don't know. They're so close. Some of them are done. Okay. Just to be safe, I'm gonna pop them in for another half hour just to make myself feel better because some of them still have a slight bend, which tells me that there's still moisture in there. So we want them to be dry, brittle, no moisture, so that there's no mold ever to grow. So 30 more minutes. That'll be 11 and a half hours. That is so long. All right, timer just went off. Let's see if that was enough. All right, brought you around so you can see what I'm seeing, and I think we're good because that's what you want. You want it to be brittle and have that nice crunch, and they all have that, so I think we're good. All right, I'm just gonna fill up my little Ninja cup to my blender with all of the peppers and pulse it a few times, and we're gonna have red pepper flakes here in a second. To be honest, I never actually eat these. It's my husband who eats them. He puts them in his eggs every single morning, so I'm so excited for him to try these tomorrow and just see if he can tell a difference, like whether he likes them better, whether they just taste the same. I am so curious. I'm also curious how spicy these peppers are. We shall see. All right, here we go. Wow, that instantly just took it from a full cup down to this. That's crazy. I'm gonna just put it on low for a few seconds to get any big pieces. Because I definitely want there to still be like some texture to it. I'm gonna compare it to the kind that we buy. Okay, it needs to be a little smaller. All right, I think it's still a little bit big because I'm just thinking that you gotta be able to sprinkle it through like the little shaker holes in the spice jar, and those definitely can't fit. So I'm gonna do it a little bit more. All right, I think that's better. We're definitely getting into dust texture. So I kind of want to stop there. And if we run into any big pieces, we'll just crumble them up as we find them, because that's kind of turning into powder. And we don't want that. So I think we're gonna call it good. This is the fun part. Okay, so I have this jar. This was garlic powder and we used it all up. I took the label off and now we're gonna reuse it for our stuff. I'm so excited. Okay, so I have our funnel here. I'll just make it way easier to pour in. Let's do it. Whoa. Alright, look, we have a cute jar of red pepper flakes. So I will say, this is a little bit more powdery than the store. I'll show you a little side-by-side comparison. So the store tends to have more seeds, less like fleshy parts, and where ours is mostly fleshy parts, not as many seeds. So I'm not sure how the store does that, like maybe they sift out some of the red, but I will ask my husband what he thinks tomorrow when he tries this. But now for the part that I think is the most fun, we're gonna make a little label for our jar. So let's do that. Let's see, what should we say? Just red pepper? Because crushed red pepper flakes would be way too much. So let's just do red pepper. I love this little gadget. It is so fun. It makes the cutest little vintage style labels. And it was like $9 on Amazon. Got it for Christmas one year. It's one of my favorite gifts. Just like that, we got a little label. Isn't it cute? Okay, let's see. I think we'll go up and down, like so. Cute! I love it! Alright, we're all finished. I hope that you guys found this video helpful and made some crushed red pepper alongside with me. Let me know how it went for you. We had to cook ours for over 11 hours and that's kind of crazy to me. So let me know if yours was just as long or if it was shorter. I think it was because our peppers were so big. It's my only theory. But I hope this video was helpful. If it was, definitely give it a thumbs up for me. And subscribe if you are interested in more gardening and homemaking, canning, preserving content like this. There's definitely gonna be more, especially as we get into the fall time. If you have anything that you want to see, definitely let me know. We're gonna be canning our salsa this fall. We've already done banana peppers and hopefully we'll have enough harvest to do some more. So if you're interested in that, I'd love to know. So anything like that, just leave a comment and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.